Ta-da! And welcome to Joseph's Hi-Fi in my pursuit for sumptuous sound. Or something like that anyway. It's a quick one and it's been a long time. I do apologise. The delays in the video will be made quite clear in the next 12 months after a bigger process where my wonderful model railway channel and the Hi-Fi channel will sort of meet together on a common problem. It's just a quick one today. I actually have another video halfway through the process. We're going to be discussing what we've been up to with the turntable, but I wanted to touch on something that not many people seem to talk about. I'm not talking about it just as a collector, but on any of this type of equipment, and it's to do with the boxes. Whether you purchase a new pair of speakers, amplifier, record, anything, it comes in a box. And for the most part, we're not planning on necessarily trying to maintain it in absolute mint condition and then hope that in 50 years' time it's hit an all-time record high, because I certainly have amplifiers that are older than my Pioneer amplifier here, and they didn't go up anywhere in value. In fact, I would probably have to pay someone to get rid of them for me. So do we need to keep the boxes? Well, I always say yes. If you've got the space available, I don't see why it can be a bad thing. On the flip side though, if I was to sell my wonderful CD player, of which I still have the original box, in 15, 20 years time, the person buying it, do they really care that it's in the box or not? I suppose if you're going to be freighting it somewhere, you have the exact product and good enough to ship your product around the world in the first place in that packaging, it should stand up to the test of time. But then do we really need it? Genuinely not. However, there are some boxes include some fantastic artwork and have been really well put together. And if you are planning on moving, perhaps you're renting and need to move again, the original boxes, of course, are worth their weight in gold. But storing them can be an issue if you don't have room. So I'd like to just quickly share with you some concepts that I've come up with and a little bit of a do and don't method of the storage. Again, it's not really discussed a lot. It's a personal thing, but just think back to your record collection. There's nothing quite like owning a great clean copy of one of your favorite records you love to play. And if you happen to have a mint sealed up copy, that could only be a good thing as well. Thanks to our friends Led Zeppelin, we could always stairway to heaven and store in your ceiling. In fact, I indeed did store my HS8 speakers in the ceiling. These are wrapped in Glad wrap, cling film, saran wrap. I don't recommend it. That will break down and is not good. But the location is not bad if the box is empty. It's a reasonably safe, secured location up here with very little around to complicate my life, with plenty of unwanted Christmas gifts that end up here too. Air fryers. What are people thinking? It's just a fan-forced oven, but smaller. Anyway, so that's one option you could look at for storing there. However, we need to do something about trying to protect the box. So let us go to the next option. And then there is this. Storing this sort of stuff in your shed. But look, for many of us, this is the reality of what we're going to have to do, if you so choose to keep your boxes. Couldn't have chosen a more windier day, actually, to be doing this. Now, some of these boxes still have the equipment stored in it at the moment. Now, that's a bit interesting. We'll come back to that later. But the important thing here is that where possible, like we still have our vintage turntable box for our Technics turntable, and we keep that in a heavier type of plastic to keep the dust off. It's about the best I can do and what most of us are going to accept and say this is how we're going to store it. Or we just chuck them away. If we just gaze up on this bay, you will notice a black record box sitting underneath the R.U.O.K box for my record cleaner. Now, those black record boxes are how I was keeping all of my records. Of course, now they have a permanent home. What to do with the cases? I still have the box the case was in. But of course it is me and I am crazy. This thick timber one is the one the amplifier was shipped in from around the world to be with me. So I've decided to keep it because there's a high chance that the next buyer will probably be someone overseas chasing that amplifier. It's not just about the collections for me, of course, whether it be a box of Lego, whether it be some of my favorite toys, some of my favorite records, boxes, boxes, boxes. Take some of the original iMacs that came out in all their fruity and yummy colors. I still have a couple of iMac boxes in storage, some with the iMacs in them, some without. But I've kept the box because it's a tremendous piece of nostalgia. It's a colorful, well-presented box, and when it comes down to packaging, to this day, Apple still make a very desirable product that is always housed in magical packaging. Unboxing the KEF LS50 Meta speakers that I put into my daughter's room. It was a wonderful experience, any more than those of you who have had the chance to build your own gaming computer will find that as you started to go up into more premium components like power supplies, the power supply is usually elegantly presented in a box, in usually like a felt tote bag, custom screwdriver that comes with it, and all these customizable features. Well, it's like that in the hi-fi world. There is so much to enjoy about it. But again, the boxes and packaging, it's either get rid of it, recycle it and throw it in the bin, or it's something that you can appreciate the artwork and the practicality and the durability of what a solid good box can deliver. And if nothing else, great insulation if you're storing it up in your ceiling, and or can be great acoustical benefit as well if you need to absorb a bit of sound. Well, that's all that we have in this video. I told you it would be rather simple and sweet. It's an interesting thing, and perhaps people might make mention in the comments below about what they do and how important it may or may not be to them. For me, boxes of anything are always important, and as long as I have storage, I will keep those boxes accordingly. Girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much as always for joining me. Again, you don't need to like, follow or subscribe. Look forward to seeing you in the next one when we're going to be talking about cables and interconnects with the turntable. Toodles!